Christmas is on its way, and we are going to make some vintage-inspired snow globes. A snow globe, which is also called a snow dome, is a transparent sphere traditionally made of glass, enclosing a miniaturized scene of some sort, often together with a model of a town, landscape, or figure. Making snow globes is an annual tradition in our home. Last year, we did these really incredible cream and copper colored snowscapes, and we also made little villages out of them using antique puts houses, which are little village houses. And this year I'm going to show you the process of how I make these. We start with bottle brush trees from the craft store, and we end up bleaching them. Depending on how long you bleach them will give you a varied look. So I'm going to show you the process of doing that and how we put these together, and then how we create our collection to make a beautiful table with them. So the main component of the globes that I like to make, and you really can use anything inside of them to create a scenery, but I like to use bottle brush trees. There's a technique of bleaching them that allows you to create a different looking tree depending upon how long you leave it in a bleach solution. The solution that I like to use is 2 cups of bleach to 1 quart of water. These bottle brush trees are found in any type of a craft store, and they come in different shades of pink or green or blue or gold. And depending on what color you get when you bleach it, you could have a faint hint of that color left in the bottle brush. But all you want to do is dunk this into your bleach solution, and without touching the water, you want to submerge it. I let mine sit for a good complete day to get them nice and white. But you can already see with just a little bit of bleach, it's turning a different color green. And depending upon how long you leave it in the bleach, will give you a different desired effect. I've created 2 different shades of trees today. One is a super white bottle tree that was bleached for a very long time. And the other one was a slightly greenish version. And that is because last year when I made these, my theme was cream and copper, and this year it's going to be this greenish color and a bronze. So we're going to create 5 different little scenes, and this year I've gotten some reindeer, just little plastic reindeer. These were ornaments that I spray painted white. And so we're going to create a forest scene this year, which is going to go really beautiful with the ones that we did last year. When I'm making these globes, I like to do a varied size that I can create an entire scene with several of these. So I have sourced out several different size trees that we can use in all of these different bowls. And one of the most important things to consider is that the bottom of these bowls are not flat. They are a little bit convex. You have to create a flat base in there that you can actually hot glue your trees and whatever ornaments you want to inside of them. We've cut these circles out, and basically we have just traced the cardboard from the bottom of the globe, cut it out, and we're going to apply a little bit of hot glue to it. Let it cool slightly, and then apply that to the bottom of your glass dome and let that solidify so that it's a nice flat base. Glue guns work really well for making this a really easy project to do. I'm not going to apply the cardboard to the small ones because their bases are small enough that I should be able to get a flat enough scenery with that. So this is only about 20 minutes in the bleach. You can see what a nice light green that's turning into. We're going to let that soak probably for another hour or so to get it a little bit lighter. And if you want it really white, just let it soak for a whole day, and that will take out all the color right out of the tree. So this year, I'm going to do trees that have 2 different types of hue to them. One This is a really white tree. This is the greenish tree that I took out a little bit sooner out of the bleach. So I want to keep that greenish tint, and for the super white ones, I'm going to use a bronze spray glitter to give them a little bit of depth of color. This is a really great type of a glitter mist that you can find at any craft supply store. It doesn't give it that super glittery look, but you also don't have glitter falling all over the place as a result of using this. So it's really easy to use. You want to make sure it's shaken well and make sure it's spraying in a fine mist, and just mist your tree with the glitter. And you can use this in a varied amount, so you can go lighter and have a tree that isn't completely brown. You can go even lighter than that, so that when you look at these from different angles, they're going to have different looks to them. You can make them super dark if you want. And I'm going to leave some of them white, some of the smaller ones white. And your hands will get full of glitter, but that's okay. You can wear gloves if that bothers you. And there's our trees. So before you fill the inside of the bowls, you want to make sure they're really nice and cleaned out with Windex. There's no streaks in them. And I'm going to, before I actually secure down what I want in there, I'm going to place some of the trees before I actually make the decision for it. So that bowl right there will have 3 different color trees in it, which I like. It gives a little bit of variation in color. And you don't want to add any of the trees that are going to pop out of the top. So for instance, you would not use this giant tree in here with it coming out. We're going to reserve that for decorating around the snow globes once they're on our table. And you can do lots of different configurations. You can do one bowl that is all the same color tree. Make these varied and be creative with it. I like to do woodland scenes with mine, but you can use many of the smaller little bottle brush trees, and you can create a nativity scene if you find some small nativity pieces. Today for ours, I'm going to use these spray painted reindeer in one of them, and I think I'm going to have this one be all of the bronze trees and one of the reindeer in there. And because this one looks a little bit small compared to the size of him, I'm going to use 2 large trees and a small one. And once I like that placement, we're going to hot glue that in there. You want to be careful not to crush the sides of the bottle brush tree, because they will crush down, and you can always fluff them back up, but you want to take some caution not to dent them. And some of your trees might be a little bit crooked. You might bend a couple of the tops of them to make them look a little bit more realistic. And for the reindeer, we're just going to hot glue the bottom of his feet, poor guy, and stick him right in there. And there's our last one. So these are all going to get filled with snow. And the rest of the trees that we have, I'm going to create a scene around all of these on our table that's really going to tie it all together to give it a nice wintry wonderland type of a scene. So there's a couple different types of snow that you can use. These can be found at either Target or a craft supply store. But this is a buffalo snowflake. It's a little bit of a larger, loose snowflake type, and it has a little bit of iridescence to it. The other kind is, this is more of a powdery looking snowflake, so it's ground down much finer than these larger flakes. So it'll look a little bit more like a puffier snow. And then this year, have never used these before, but I found these and they're little balls, so they look like little snowballs. So we're going to experiment with using some of those in our globes this year. And I'm going to start with this. I'm going to cut off the tip so that I can get it just inside the snow globe and very carefully fill it with snow. And really the level of snow that you want to use depends on whatever you think looks good. I like to cover it up enough so that you don't see the plastic base to any of the trees. And I also like to let it pile up in some areas so it looks a little bit more natural. And so it looks like a little winter wonderland scene. Yeah. And this one we're going to use the really powdery snow. You don't have to be too particular about how you get it in there. I like to do it almost like it's snowing right on everything and let it build up as I'm going around. And if you get it in the trees, that's okay. It's just going to look like snow falling on a tree. And again, I'm going to make sure the cardboard is filled up and that you don't see any of the bottoms of the trees. And again, same thing with this snow. It will look great if you're really mounded up. Now, if you've gotten snow in places that you don't really want it on, like on the outside of the bubble bowl or inside sort of scattered around here, just a very clean, brand new, cheap paintbrush, or even just a small kid's craft paintbrush, does a great job of just cleaning up the edges all around. And it helps if you don't want snow on a particular part of it. Use the smaller brush to get in there and clean that off. And there is another wintry wonderland scene. And you can see how I built up the snow in the back, really to give it a 3D look. So we have finished our Christmas display of our snow globes, and look how beautiful this looks on a table. All different levels, all different size balls, but there is one main theme throughout all of this, and that is these bleached bottle brush trees that we have either left completely white, or some are copper colored, some are bronzed, and we've got some reindeer that we've put into a couple of other ones. This is a great year to start a new tradition, being that we're all sort of stuck at home. Have some of these supplies shipped to different loved ones and do a group Zoom call where you're all sitting at a table making your own snow globes and showing them off. But it's a really great tradition to start, and every year you can make different globes that have different scenes in them and collect them throughout the years, or share them with family and friends and loved ones, or give them away as gifts. This will make a really amazing, unusual, handmade teacher's gift for a lot of kids. And I think a teacher would really appreciate that, especially at this time of year. So I wish everybody a great holiday season coming up. We'll see you again next week, and we will see you at the Q&A in a few minutes. Thanks.